I spent 2 years at the University of Utah Union Building cutting hair. That was 2 years out of my 57 years I cut hair. And I'm still cutting hair every day. Uh, After I was up there 1 year, Virginia came there to school. She'd go through the hall to the cafeteria, and I saw her, and oh, my heart just pounded. And she'd go through there every day, and I wanted to meet her so bad. I didn't know how to do it. There was a friend of mine in there one day getting his hair cut, an engineer, and I told him about Virginia, and he said, well, if you can show her to me, he said, I know every girl on the campus. I'd introduce you. And so just then she went by with her girlfriend, and they're both blonde, platinum blonde, both of them. The other girl's eyes were blue with blonde, and Virginia brown and just as blonde as the other gal. A lot more blonde than that. So he said, oh, I know who that is. He said, that's Betty Allen. So I went and looked up her phone number and called Betty Allen. We talked for a long time, where we liked to dance and what shows we liked and everything to think of. She said, well, I think you're talking to the wrong girl. They're not talking to the girl you think you are. And I said, you're Betty Allen, aren't you? She said, yes. I said, well, you're the one. After a while, she said again, well, I don't think you're talking to the girl you think you are. She said, didn't you see her on the Union Building steps last Saturday? I said, yes. She said, well, that's my girlfriend, Virginia Sanders. She said, I'll bring her in and introduce her to you. So she did. She brought her in and introduced her. I wanted to date real bad, but I didn't have a car. He didn't dare ask for a date. I had a good friend. He and I lived in Waterloo Ward, and he was a returned missionary, and he taught the missionary class this Sunday. So we had a pretty good sized class, about 20 of us in the class. And every once in a while we talked up going out to the old mill club to dance. And so we'd go out there every once in a while. And so I thought, well, I'll see if we can get our butts to go out to the old mill club one of these Saturdays. And my friend Earl Clemens, who's a teacher, his sister had a car, so he borrowed the car from her. So then after he did that, I asked Virginia for a date. She'd come by every day, and I asked her for a date for the next Saturday. As soon as I asked her for a date, I went downtown to Gibbs clothing store and bought a new suit, shirt, shoes, everything. Hat, you had to have a hat those days. You didn't have a hat, you wasn't dressed up. Well, anyway, when I went out to pick up Virginia to go to the old mill club, which is the best dancing place in the whole northern end of the state. All the university kids went up to the old mill club to dance. And when I went to pick Virginia up, she came to the door, and she had a formal clear to the floor. And it just got me, I just melted. I didn't make a very big grease spot though, because I was pretty thin the whole thing. Anyway, we went to the old mill club and we had a ball. Never had more fun in my whole life. Just great. And I didn't put my arm around her except when we danced, because I wanted to make a good impression. When we came home, I didn't offer to kiss her goodnight because I still wanted to make a good impression. Because I really liked that little gal. So I wanted to go stay with her, but of course she didn't have a car and I didn't dare ask her to do that. So I told her that I would like to, but I said I won't ask you until we get a car. Well, I wasn't very long getting a car. A week or two I had it. And the one I wanted, if I'd have had millions of dollars, I don't think I'd have had any other choice than that. The best. It was 1 year old though, and it was just like new. Ford coupe, had everything, super deluxe. Boy, did I love that. saw Virginia at the university, and I told her I was going to get a car tomorrow. And I'd like to have a date tomorrow night to go for a ride with a new car. She said, okay, I'll stay up until late. She lived in South Murray. And so she said, I'll stay up with my aunt. Where the Temple, South Temple and State Street, a big, what do they call it, apartment house. And she lived there. So she told me where she lived, and of course I knew where Eagle Gate was, where it was. So I took the car and went up there and parked across the street south and walked over and had a hard time getting in the house. The gal that came to the door said, wouldn't let me in. And then Virginia's aunt heard me out there, and Virginia and I came out and said, let him in, it's okay. So we went out to the car, and then you get in the car, and the key wouldn't start the car. It wouldn't work. After having a hard time getting in and see her, then the car wouldn't work. Anyway, we tried to get it to go for quite a while, then I looked to my left. There's another car exactly like same year, same color, identical twin. When we got out and went over there, and of course the key worked and everything. And had a good time. I told you I went down to the Tiger and got a suit. I didn't want to tell you this whole story. And it was a pale green gabardine suit. And so Virginia and I wore the GCMI a while back, and we saw this pale green gabardine suit just like it. She said, well, I think you better buy it. I'm not just like the one we have the first day. So we bought it. I'd like to talk on and on and on, but I know I got to quit. One little cute quick story I want to tell you. Do any of you remember the story about Johnny Lingo?
Yeah.
Johnny Lingo, they lived in the South Pacific island, small island. And the way the boys had to do to get their girls or their wife is pay the father for the daughter. So they paid one cow to 2 cows. Most of them got their wife for a cow or 2 cows. Well, Johnny Lingo went ahead to her father and asked him for her. And he said, well, you'd have to give me 3 cows for her. And he said, oh, no, 3 cows. She's worth more than that. I'll give you 5 cows. That's the way I would do it, Virginia. I'd give 7 cows. I'll let Virginia tell a little more. I'd like to go on, but I'm
That was the truth. I said many times the truth. That I want to tell you just a little bit about the honeymoon. We had been dating with this girl, Clements and his girlfriend, for 2 years. And the Christmas before the summer of 1939, I was engaged to me out by the state capitol. And that was St. John's and so anyway, we decided we'd be married in June of 1939. And this Margaret and Earl Clements had been dating with us about that length of time. We just had such a good time together. We went to Canadians for picnics, and we were all working and didn't have much money. And so when we told them one night on this date that we were going to be married on the 10th of June, they said, you know, we've been talking of marriage. Let's get married together. And that just sounded wonderful. We, just had so much fun together. That was just perfect. We didn't care. It was wonderful. And she said, I'll have a wedding breakfast and you can have an open house. We couldn't afford to have too much because we didn't have enough money. In fact, I wondered where I was going to get the punch the party. But we didn't have any wedding pictures. My mother took pictures. And they, about 3 months later, he didn't dare tell me And about 3 months later, I said, Stuart, where are our wedding pictures? Did they turn out? How were they? Oh, they just said, he just gave a great big sigh and he said, they didn't turn out, Virginia. Not one picture turned out. Bill, who cared at that time about that? But when we celebrated our 50th, then I was wishing that we had a wedding picture, to show what we looked like at that point. We had two that were taken earlier in our marriage or in our courtship. But we decided we'd work for 2 months before we went on our honeymoon because we couldn't afford it. We just went right back to work, the following Monday. We were married on Saturday. So the following, in about 2 months, we each had about $100 saved. And of course, that was plenty for a honeymoon. That long ago. So we got in our little car and we went to Lake Tahoe. Had a wonderful time at Lake Tahoe and had such a good time. Margaret, we said, when we ought to stay here another night. This is really neat. We bought a big watermelon. We've gone out on the boat and we've had all this fun together. A little cabin with the ground floor bedroom and a little loft, and we shared the same cabin. And Margaret said, "Oh, I'll go down and sit down." We paid $4 for the cabin. She went down to the office and she said, "We just love this place and we'd love to stay another night, but we really can't afford $4. And they said, "Oh, that's just fine. We aren't really busy. You're not too busy right now. It's a lovely little place. Not too well, no, maybe." And so he said, "You can have it for $250. So we stayed another night. Well, then we went to Sacramento and to Oakland, and it was the World Exposition on Treasure Island. And we knew we had to go to Treasure Island. But I had a nice aunt that lived in Oakland, so she let us stay with her for a couple of nights. And we went to Treasure Island. We just had such a good time. Ronald saw this TV coming in this room, and he said, that is a TV. What the TV is, that's coming to the wall. And he laughs to this day. Every time we look at TV very much, he'll say, "I thought that TV was coming to the wall."
That's the first TV that was shown in the World's Fair.
It was exciting. So we had a good time. It just happened your daughter at the exposition. Then we went over to San Francisco and she had an aunt. So she had made arrangements prior to this time to stay with her aunt. So we stayed 2 more nights and just had all in San Francisco in the public. More? Oh, not Bill. Oh, my heck. We just had more fun. And so we almost got divorced. We went to Fisherman's Wharf. And Margaret and I loved crab. And Earl and Village. And we had to go around. We had our cars, and we went around the car and sat on one fender, and the boys were on the other. And they said, "Well, we aren't quite sure we would want to." Like him. The crab. But every time I look at the crab, I looked at that. It was so funny. But we did have a really good honeymoon. We were gone for 18 days and came home with one. We didn't spend it all. We didn't have to spend it all. It was just a big left. So we got pretty proud of that. But our marriage, when we started having our children, we'd been married a couple of years when Bob came along, 2.5 years maybe. And Ronald was kind of scared. And I said, "I'm not scared. I look forward to having babies. Ever all my life. Hey." So this darling little boy came along, and then the dozen red roses. I don't think I'd ever had a dozen red roses ever in my life. I had a few corsages and things, during the days, ties and all that. But I never had a dozen red roses. And he told me a cute little story. When Bob was born, we had the neatest doctor. He was just precious. When he got this darling little baby down, I was expecting a little squinty-eyed, just sleepy-head baby. And here this baby with great big brown eyes and wide awake as can be an hour later, just at an hour after he was born. Well, Ron, of course, fell in love with that little baby.